Will Cody Bellinger opt in with the Cubs? Should Cubs fans want him to opt in? These are the $27.5 million questions. I'm going to do my best to answer both of these right now. But before I do, if you love the Cubs and you aren't subscribed, please do. To catch you up, if you didn't already know, Cody Bellinger has a pretty big decision to make, and he has to make it within 5 days of completion of the World Series, aka potentially the end of this week. Opt in with the Cubs and take a guaranteed $27.5 million in 2025, plus an option for $25 million in 2026, or opt out for $2.5 million and try your luck in the open market. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would he opt out for that kind of guaranteed money? And the reason would simply be from a financial standpoint. He might make more guaranteed money spread out over more years with another team. In other words, rather than make $52.5 million for the next 2 years with the Cubs, he might be able to sign a 4 or 5 year contract for, say, in the neighborhood of 80 to 120 million with another team. From Cody's perspective, it seems like a pretty risky move to opt out. Let's look at the facts. He's coming off of a year where he had some positives, but most of the numbers do not support a $25 million or more per year player. His WRC plus was 109, OPS plus was 111, and his FWAR was only 2.2. Compare this to his 2023 season where he had a 136 WRC plus, a 139 OPS plus, and a 4.4 FWAR. That's a pretty big difference. On top of that, he's had a pretty rough stretch of injuries over the last handful of years, including the last 2 at the Cubs where he played 130 games each year. And if you look at other position players who played over 120 games and made between $25 million to $30 million in 2024, you would find names like Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman, Marcus Semien, and Rafael Devers all on that list, all of which were at least 3.9 WAR players. So Scott Boras and Cody Bellinger would have a really tough negotiation ahead of them, especially because of the miserable 2021 and 2022 seasons that Bellinger posted. For those reasons, I'm pretty confident that Cody Bellinger will opt in with the Cubs. He's still only 29 years old, turns 30 in July, and if he puts up a 2025 season similar to 2023, he will have a very strong bargaining chip at the negotiating table for the 2026 season. Right now, it just seems to me like it's too far of a stretch that he would get a decent contract for more than 4 years that would exceed what he's already making. Now, Cubs fans, should you want him to opt in? That's a completely different question. For that, I want to ask you to comment below with your thoughts. I've put a pretty decent amount of thought into this, and I personally do hope that he opts out. It may not be a popular decision for you, but I think the pros outweigh the cons. The con really is that you just lose a guy who could potentially have a bounce back season and maybe be a top 10 hitter in the league like he was in 2023. The pros, you now have $27.5 million to work with. No, I still don't think the Cubs would use that money towards Juan Soto, unfortunately, but I could easily see that money going towards Corbin Burns or some of it to Tanner Scott. And you open up a spot for Owen Casey and or Kevin Alcantara to show us what they have to offer at the major league level. And because you still have guys like Mike Tauchman and Seiya Suzuki, you would have a backup plan if they don't work out. But I'll be honest, I can also see the other side of that coin. You can instead keep Bellinger and use Alcantara or Casey, who really haven't proven themselves in the MLB, in a trade package for a bat, a starter, or maybe even a closer. So basically, I'm not black and white on this. I'm probably 60-40 in favor of Bellinger opting out. I'll be happy if he opts out, but I won't be sad if he opts in. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.